Down the start orders. They're up. And Millreef it is. As they come up the line, it's Millreef the winner.
Jockey and long, long way clear of his rivals. Jockey is going to win a very easy winner. It is Generous and young Alan Monroe. Generous takes it. Generous is the winner.
It's Galileo. He's left them toiling. It's no contest. Galileo, a brilliant winner of the Derby.
4 more coming on the outer and celebrates as if he's won the Derby, Mikel Barcelona. Good morning and a very warm welcome to the official draw ceremony for the Derby here on Epsom Downs. It is the 242nd edition of the world's most famous horse race, sponsored for the first time this year in 2021 by Cazoo. 12 horses have been declared for Saturday's Blue Ribbon, which you'll be able to see here with us live on Racing TV and on ITV. And alongside me, I have a man who has the distinction of being one of only 4 current jockeys to have won the Derby and the Oaks. He may yet add the Coronation Cup this weekend. He is, of course, Martin Dwyer. Martin, good morning, and just feeling the excitement being here on the Downs in this hallowed winner's circle.
Yeah, for sure, Nick. It makes a hair stand up on the back of your neck when you come in. Even though racing doesn't start till tomorrow, this is a special place.
You had a daredevil ride on Sir Percy round here in 2006. You came from what's known as the hot box because it's won so many times, stall 10.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that's the winning most stall, I believe, and yeah, it certainly helped me that year. So I think all eyes are going to be on us this morning with the draw. Very important job. I hope I don't mess it up.
It's a small-ish field now because, as Aidan O'Brien signalled yesterday, he has only declared one horse for the first time in almost a couple of decades. He relies just on Bolshoi Ballet. What number will he not want to come out of that drum?
I don't think he'll want stall 1 or 2. I don't think anyone's ever won from 2, have they?
They haven't.
And stall 1 isn't great. I think you'd be happy with anything above 5. I think in an ideal world you want to be sort of 7 to 10.
Why is it that people don't want the inside stalls? Just talk me through the rudiments of that first sort of 200, 250 yards of the Derby course. Why is it so difficult?
Because if you're drawn in the middle, you've got more options. And as you know, the field we set out on the right-hand side, and we go straight uphill into the far right-hand side. Then we switch back left. And if you're in stalls 1 to 4, you've got to really work hard to defend your position. And you're at risk of wasting too much petrol, or you get flattened when they cross back over. If you're on the wide outside, you can be stuck on the wide outside. If you're drawn in the middle, you've got many more options.
Oath was the last winner from stall 1. That was under the genius Kieran Fallon ride in 1999. You had an unhappy experience in stall 3 last year on the horse you ride in the Coronation Cup, Pile Driver.
I did, yeah. I mean, that was a prime example. There was a lot of runners that day. I was drawn in stall 3. I'm trying to position myself and follow the right horses. I was quite happy to start with, but after 2 furlongs, when we crossed back to the inside rail, I got flattened and I got taken out the race. I went to last place, my horse stumbled, and that was my race effectively over. And that's why the draw is very important.
We were talking earlier, we were talking about great days you've had here. Sir Percy, narrowest winning margin in Derby history, beating Dragon Dance, that eternal photo finish in 2006. Casual look a few years previously for Andrew Balding in the pouring rain. You could make it, the glorious hat-trick with Pile Driver this weekend, but it struck me that the one that got away was the one that you were talking about. Just tell me about that.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? You remember the great days, but the things that stick in your mind most are the ones that went wrong and got away from you. And for me, it was Peeping Fawn. I was travelling in midfield and progressing nicely, coming down the hill into Tattenham Corner. She didn't quite have the experience of the winner, Light Shift. And I found myself getting shuffled backwards. I'd come off the bridle. The winner had an uninterrupted run on the outside. And by the time I got going into the straight, I had a bit of ground to make up, and I was beating a length, and it was certainly one that got away, and that's the nature of this track.
I remember backing you each way. I was just delighted that you finished second. It never occurred to me that you were unlucky.
Well, I was gutted. I felt I was on the best horse, but on the day it was a fairy tale. Everybody was happy. Henry Cecil had won the Oaks. He'd spent a little bit of time in the last few years, sort of twilight of his career, and struggling, and he came back with a vengeance. But for me, yeah, it was a unlucky race, and I drove home from Epsom that day feeling pretty sorry for myself.
For Aidan O'Brien peeping forward. Of course, O'Brien has 5 in tomorrow's Cazoo Oaks. Just 1. Bolshoi Ballet in the 242nd Derby. The trainer with the most runners is Charlie Appleby for Godolphin. He fields Hurricane Lane and One Ruler and Adayar. Now, the jockey merry-go-round has become quite significant. It's taken another turn this morning, Martin. We knew last night that Frankie Dettori would now ride John Leaper because there's no high definition and no second string for Ballydoyle that he was expected to ride. That meant Adam Kirby was left without a ride. He now switches to Adayar for Charlie Appleby. That leaves the champion jockey, Oisin Murphy, with no ride.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the nature of the beast. That's what can happen, and trainers have not confirmed plans for running. You can be booked on a horse, but they decide for any number of reasons they're not running. And I guess when connections of John Leaper found out Frankie Dettori was available, I mean, how could you not have Frankie Dettori on your side? Unfortunately for Adam Kirby, he lost his ride, but then, as you say, he steps in and takes the mount on a day. I believe I don't think he's ever ridden a day, but he does ride out for Charlie Appleby and obviously knows his horses and probably knows his horse particularly well. So they decided to use a jockey that knows the horse, and unfortunately Oisin is without a ride.
And a very significant weekend for young David Egan, who had such a productive spring. He has a big ride in the Oaks tomorrow on Tiona, taking over from Andrea Razzani. He's also picked up his first ride in the Cazoo Derby, and that will be aboard Mojo Star for Richard Hannon. That was going to be ridden by Ross O'Ryan, who had that fall and broke his collarbone last week. So Martin and I will conduct the draw ceremony very shortly, but first of all, we'll take you back to Racing TV HQ to Nick Lightfoot, who can confirm the dozen that will run in Saturday's Derby with their riders. Nick.
I can indeed. Good morning, Nick, and Martin as well. Looking forward to the draw, which is just a few minutes away, but we'll confirm the 12 of them who are declared to go for the Cazoo Derby, run at 4:30, of course, this Saturday live from Epsom. This is the 12. Adayar, who, as Nick mentioned, Adam Kirby, who was due to ride John Leaper, indeed rode John Leaper, of course, in that Epsom workout morning a week and a half ago. Well, of course, Frankie Dettori's now coming for the ride aboard John Leaper. And it is now Adam Kirby on Adayar replacing Oisin Murphy, who is now the champion jockey without a ride. Bolshoi Ballet, the sole representative for Ballydoyle. Ryan Moore, of course, Gear Up. Ben Curtis. Hurricane Lane for William Buick. And Charlie Appleby, who won the race back in 2018 with Massar. Then John Leaper, the mount of Frankie Dettori. Max Sweeney for Jim Bolger and Kevin Manning. Of course, the Irish 2000 Guineas winner. And the trainer-jockey combination that looked to win it again after new approach in 2008. Mohafeth for Jim Crowley, who's got that big book of Group 1 rides over the weekend. Mojo Star for David Egan. One Ruler, James Doyle, perhaps a sporting outside of that one. Another for Charlie Appleby. Southern Lights, he's trained, of course, by Joseph O'Brien, twice a winner of the Derby as a jockey, Camelot in 2012 and 2 years after that with Australia. Third Realm, Andrea Razzani, of course, the winner of the Lingfield Derby trial. Of course, a race that Anthony Van Dyke went on, used to win en route to Epsom 2 years ago. And Youth Spirit, a Chester winner, and Tom Marquand is in the saddle. So that's the 12 that are declared with the jockeys. All we're waiting on, of course, is the draw, which is just a few moments away. And with that in mind, we can head back live to Epsom and rejoin Nick and Martin.
Well, Martin and I have come out onto the track. Don't forget, draw at 11 o'clock sharp, just to see what the conditions like and to sort of think about how this might pan out over the next couple of days. You can see in the background there, Martin, the big boom irrigator. Andrew Cooper's having to get plenty of water on this track.
Yeah, I think Andrew will be delighted with where he's at. I was here a week ago and this track was nearly underwater. And since then, we've had glorious sunshine. We've had lots of growth in the grass. The track is in amazing condition. So I guess Andrew is now just making sure it doesn't go too firm. And it should be perfect racing ground. It should be no excuse ground.
Why, in your opinion, is it a bit more challenging tomorrow, Friday, than it is on Saturday to ride this track?
I've always found the Fridays a little more tricky because, as you can see, this rail is... It's, what are we, sort of 5 metres off the inside.
Yeah, quite a bit.
They protect the ground on the inside for the Derby, so we're actually racing on the steepest part of the camber, so there's more room for things to go wrong. So I always think it can be risky challenging on the inside, especially in a Coronation Cup where it can often be a small field, a steady run race. It can be very tactical, and as like I say, with the Oaks, if you come on the inside, and tired horses can fall in your lap pretty quickly, so it's a little bit more challenging on the Friday.
So tomorrow in the Coronation Cup, you'll be on pile driver. You will be not going trying to burrow your way up Ryan Moore's inside on this rail.
I'm not sure yet. I'm not going to give away my tactics, but it will be a tactical race, and we've all got to have a good think about it. But whatever you do, you've got to be very aware of the camber here. And the worst thing you can do on this track is to fight the camber. You've got to go where your horse is naturally going and try not to get them unbalanced. And
then Saturday, as you say, there's a really decent-sized strip of ground. What's that? 3 horse widths? Would you say?
Three. You could fit 7 on that strip, Nick, in the Derby.
You're a bit braver than me.
Everybody will be fighting for that strip because it will be untouched and unused till the Derby, so it's fresh ground and it goes right to the bend on Tapman Corner there. So everybody will want to be on that inside.
And when you won on Sir Percy, at what point in the race did you think, right, the shortest way round's a goer here? This is on. Where was the split decision?
It was kind of a furlong and a half to run where I had a bit of ground to make up, and I kind of made the split decision that I can go round and go up the camber, and I'll be a well fast finishing, and I'll be placed, or I just take the bull by the horns, and it was do or die really. And I seen Dylan Thomas was treading water and getting tired, and there was enough of a gap, so I just went for it, and fortunately it paid off.
So you were either going to win or finish 10th.
Yeah.
And if you'd come out, you'd have probably finished 4th.
Yeah. I'd have been 3rd or 4th coming wide, or go the inside, and I could have hit the back of a horse coming backwards and finished 10th or fallen off. So it was either or. It was a gamble, but it paid off.
Split second decisions that make the difference between winning and losing, the race that matters most, and on whom careers and legacies are built. The draw for the 242nd Derby is coming your way very shortly.
Join us at 9 p.m. on Friday on Racing TV's Facebook and Twitter pages for the Great Derby Quiz, your perfect chance to test your knowledge of the Cazoo Derby down the years and to win some great prizes, which include VIP hospitality at the 2022 Cazoo Derby Festival, along with the opportunity to win a 50-inch television and a year's subscription to Racing TV. Fear not. Everyone who enters will enter into a draw to win 3 Racing TV jackets. So what have you got to lose? Doesn't matter how many derbies you've watched, it's ideal to play with your friends, challenge each other, find a fun way to test your knowledge ahead of the world's greatest race. We've also got some special guests asking some of the questions. And a reminder, everyone who joins in has the chance of winning a prize. Best of luck.
This week, we're focused on the Derby in a special Epsom episode. Here's what's coming up in this week's show.
Rosebery set himself 3 lifetime goals, and he set the bar high: to marry an heiress, to become Prime Minister, and to own a Derby winner.
There's so many great jockeys over time have never won this race.
Well,
I'm looking at you there, yeah.
Say there were 2 men. You've got Steady Eddie, Hurricane Lane, Mr. Reliable. He's always going to be there for you. He's going to be doing his best work. Mahafef, he's the street fighter. He's going to get in there. He's going to have a battle this one.
I think the Coronation Cup is quite an iconic race, steeped in history. Lots of very good horses have won it in the past. It obviously comes on Derby weekend, and it's watched by people globally.
Yep, all about Epsom, This Racing Life special, which is it was first aired last night, and there's another airing opportunity at 8:30 tonight. This Racing Life, which is reflective as well, looking at the Derby history as well as talking about some of the contenders going into this weekend. But all eyes now on the draw for the Cazoo Derby, which is just moments away, Nick.
Nick, thank you very much. Martin Dwyer alongside me, and Martin is going to do the honours. We are joined by the British Horse Racing Authority adjudicator Rob Sage, who is supervising proceedings. There are 12 balls in the tombola nearest to Martin and 12 in the one nearest to me. The ones nearest to Martin will correspond to the horse race card number, and when that is pulled out, we will then pull out the draw for the stall number from the tombola nearest to me. And Martin's going to give them a good rattle first of all. There you go. And when you're happy and stopped. So the first horse we will draw,
horse number 1,
is horse number 1, which is Adayar, trained by Charlie Appleby, ridden now by Adam Kirby. Adayar representing Charlie Appleby, who won the race with Massar in 2018, who came out of stall 10. And Adayar, Martin, is going to come from stall
1.
No horse since 1999 has won from stall 1. Adayar is going to be in stall 1 as we take the next horse from the drum.
I'm not tall enough to reach in. Horse number 3.
Horse number 3 is Gear Up for Mark Johnston, who was second in the race with DXB. His best placing in the Derby so far, also 4th with Mr. Bailey's. Gear Up was 5th in the Dante Stakes last time at York.
Will be drawn in 6.
Gear Up will come from stall 6. North Light emerged from stall 6 victorious in 2004. Also Shergar, 40 years ago from stall 6.
Horse number 10.
Horse number 10 is Southern Lights for Joseph O'Brien. Declan McDonagh will take the ride for Joseph.
The door nearly opened.
I'll
spin that again.
Southern Lights running for Aquis Racing and Almamora Partnership. And Southern Lights,
stall 3,
will come from stall 3. Southern Lights, stall 3, was last successful New Approach, the brilliant New Approach in 2008. Also Sir Ivor in 1968 from stall 3. And Slip Anchor in 85.
Horse number 12.
Horse number 12 is Youth Spirit, representing Andrew Balding, Tom Marquand and Ahmad Al-Sheikh. They were responsible for last year's runner-up Khalifa Sat, who excelled himself at 50-1. Youth Spirit, the Chester Vase winner.
Stall number 7.
Will come from stall number 7. That was Anthony Van Dyke's stall 2 years ago, also Pourmois' stall 10 years ago.
Horse number 7.
Horse number 7 is Mohafeth. Mohafeth, trained by William Haggis, who won the race 25 years ago with Sharmit. By Frankel Mohafeth, running for Shadwell.
He's a fancy of yours, isn't he?
I quite like him with the ground quickening up.
You'll want a nice draw then, let's see.
I'll want a nice draw for Mohafeth.
He's drawn in 4.
In stall 4 for Mohafeth in the Shadwell colours, successful in the race with Nashwan and Airharb. Stall 4 was last successful with the Great See the Stars in 2009, the dam sire of Mohafeth. Also Golden Fleece in 82.
Horse number 11.
Horse number 11 is Third Realm for Roger Varian. Sheikh Mohammed Abeid Al Maktoum. His colours were carried to success in 1998 with High Rise. And Drerat Zaini rides Third Realm.
He's drawn stall 2.
No horse has ever won from stall 2. Will Third Realm become the first?
Andre won't thank me for that, will he?
Rob Sage, our BHA adjudicator, is here.
Horse number 6.
Horse number 6 is McSweeney. McSweeney for Jim Bolger, who won the race famously in 2008 with New Approach. In the colours of Jackie Bolger for Kevin Manning, who rode New Approach. The Irish 2000 Guineas winner.
He's drawn stall 8.
Is in stall 8. Stall 8 for McSweeney. Last successful with Golden Horn in 2015 when there were also 12 runners. And prior to that, Workforce when there were also an exact dozen. So the last twice there have been 12 runners, stall 8 has won. McSweeney's in stall 8.
Horse number 9.
Horse number 9 is One Ruler. Second string for Charlie Appleby, who won with Massar. One Ruler will be ridden by James Doyle in the Derby this year.
Drawn 11. Legs
Stall
11.
11. Legs 11 for One Ruler.
Does that put you off?
No, not at all. It's just been a while since stall 11 has won. In fact, he's never won. Stall 11 has never won the Derby.
Right.
So One Ruler having to buck that trend.
Horse number 4.
Horse number 4 is Hurricane Lane, the Dante Stakes winner for Charlie Appleby. William Buick takes the ride, looking for his second Derby victory.
Oh, struggling to reach now.
You're getting a good workout, aren't you?
I know. Drawn in stall 5.
In 5, Hurricane Lane in 5. Stall 5, last successful Camelot winner. Small field in 2012, beat 8 rivals. Also Henbit won in 80 from stall 5 and Morstan in 73.
Horse number 5.
Horse number 5 is John Leaper, by Frankel, out of the Oaks heroine Snow Fairy, ridden by Frankie Dettori for Ed Dunlop and Christina Patino's Anamoyne Limited. John Leaper.
Drawn 12.
Frankie Dettori another Derby victory after Golden Horn in 2015 and authorised in 2007. 12, the outside for John Leaper. Stall 12.
So
Australia won from 12 in 2014, though there were 16 runners that year.
Horse number 8.
8 is Mojo Star, the outsider for Ammo Racing Limited. Richard Hannon looking for a first Derby success, and David Egan a first Derby ride.
Will be drawn in stall 10.
Stall 10. That is the golden stall for the rank outsider Mojo Star. Has won 10 times from 54 Derby runnings with stalls since 1967.
Well, he's got the lucky draw. Yeah, he's got the lucky draw.
Yeah, and that should mean...
The last horse.
I'm hoping this says 2.
Well, we're in trouble if not.
2 it
Number
is,
2.
which is the heavy favourite Bolshoi Ballet, looking to give Aidan O'Brien a 9th victory in the race. Running in the colours of Sue Magna, Michael Tabor, Derek Smith and Westerberg. Ryan Moore will ride.
And he's drawn 9.
And is in stall 9, Bolshoi Ballet. Stall 9 successful with Harzand in 2016. And prior to that, High Chaparral for this stable in 2002. So Adayar in stall 1. Third Realm in 2, Southern Lights is in 3, Mahafeth in 4, Hurricane Lane in 5, Gear Up in 6, 7 is Youth Spirit, 8 McSweeney, 9 is Bolshoi Ballet to his outside, 10 Mojo Star, 11 One Ruler and 12 John Leaper. Who does that present the biggest challenge to for you, Martin?
In terms, probably the horse drawn in stall 1. That's not an easy draw. I'd say Ryan Moore will be very happy with this stall. He's got good horses around him, and he'll have options. It's a nice draw in the middle there.
And what about Frankie Dettori right on the outside on John Leaper, who is one of the most inexperienced and raw horses in the field? Yeah,
but he'll also have an opportunity to get his horse balanced and get the position he wants without firing him up, because if I remember rightly, he was a little bit keen at Newmarket, and he can be a horse that if you light him up, it runs keen. So I'm sure Frankie will be happy in stall 12 because it'll give him the opportunity to track across and find a position without having to ask the horse any questions.
Martin, thank you very much. That was the draw for the 242nd Cazoo Derby. Back to you, Nick, in the studio just to confirm the draw and the riders.
Yeah, I will indeed. Thank you very much indeed, Nick. Adayar up the inside in 1. Now the mount of Adam Kirby, of course, not the ideal draw by any means. And ditto that comment, perhaps more so for Third Realm, who comes out of stall 2. Southern Lights has got the draw in 3, while Mahatheth is in 4. Hurricane Lane is in 5. And the last time 5 was victorious was Camelot back in 2012. Indeed, no horse, and I know we've had a variety of runners and numbers of runners in the races in recent years, but no horse drawn lower than stall 5 has won in the last decade. Gear Up is in 6. Youth Spirits is over in 7, which was responsible, or the draw responsible, for the beginning of Anthony Van Dyke's winning run even, in the 2019 Derby. Max Sweeney has come out of stall number 8, which was a victorious stall back in 2015 with the brilliant Golden Horn. Bolshoi Ballet comes out of 9, 5 years after Harzand came out of that stall to win the Derby back in 2016 under the late, great, brilliant Pat Smullen. Mojo Star has got, well, the plum draw, big outsider, but the plum draw in 10, ruler of the world, one from that draw in 2013, and more recently Massar in 2018. One ruler comes out of stall number 11, which is no given, but of course, again, relative to the field sizes that we've got. And Serpentine, that horse came out of 12, Australia came out of 12, and in 2021 it will be John Leaper, now the mount of Frankie Dettori, who will be out of 12. So that is confirmation of the 12 of them who go forward for the Cazoo Derby after the draw, and the big race takes place 4:30 on Saturday. 12 declared runners and a couple of the noted ones. Third Realm, no ideal draw in 2. Mahafeth has got 4. Max Sweeney, that horse, has got 8. And bids to give Jim Bolger and Kevin Manning yet another win in the race after new approach in 2008. Hurricane Lane comes out of stall 5, John Leaper out of 12, and Bolshoi Ballet, the warm favourite, the hot favourite, and the sole representative of Ballydoyle, comes out of 9. And we can have a look at them in action. There he is, Bolshoi Ballet, absolutely romping home in the Derrinstown Derby trial, and looks to be the first winner of that race to go on and win the Derby. After a golden spell, admittedly, Sindar Galileo, but then not since High Chaparral in 2002 has the Derrinstown winner gone on to win the Derby. He bids to be the first in nearly 2 decades. And how about this horse, Max Sweeney? Enterprising ride from the front to win the Irish Guineas less than 2 weeks ago. Of course, he was behind Bolshoi Ballet, but had excuses that day in the Derrinstown. A very good 2-year-old indeed, a Group 1 winner at 2, a Group 1 winner now at 3. And he's got draw 8 for the Derby to give Jim Bolger another win in the race. Would be an incredible story were John Leaper to win it, of course named in honour of Ed Dunlop's late father, John, twice a Derby winning trainer with Shirley Heights, with Erhab. And of course Ed Dunlop, who's already had one of his Oaks winners produce a Derby winner in the form of Ouija Board producing Australia. Well, his other, Snow Fairy, might she produce the 2021 Derby winner in the form of John Leaper. Now the mount of Frankie Dettori, who went all those years without winning it, but first cracked the Derby back in 2007 with Authorised. The Dante, of course, a very good trial for the Derby itself. Authorised won it in recent years, Motivator won it, Golden Horn won it, and Northlight as well. And Hurricane Lane, who's got stall number 5, bids to do just that for William Buick, Charlie Appleby and Godolphin, who tasted that day of glory in the Derby 3 years ago with Massar. They're some of the leading contenders. We're confirmed the decks, we're confirmed the jockeys, we're confirmed now the draw, and we can head back now to Nick Luck at Epsom.
Yeah, Nick, our job is done. Rob Sage, the BHA adjudicator, is happy as well with the dozen that go to post for the Derby. Bolshoi Ballet in stall 9 will be the headline, Martin, because it's basically perfect for Ryan Moore to win a 3rd and Aidan to win a 9th.
I'm sure Ryan will be delighted with his starting position. It's a great place. He's got many options, and interestingly, they haven't ran a pacemaker for him, so they're obviously very confident he's good enough to win on his own. And I think life will be made easier from that draw.
Yeah, they obviously believe that there is going to be pace on in the race, but with no other Ballydoyle representative and without Lone Eagle in the race, you wonder where that obvious speed is going to come from.
Yeah, it's difficult to know really. Godolphin have obviously got 3 runners, whether Adam from stall 1 might set out and make the run in just to help his other stablemate and improve his chances of overcoming that draw. It remains to be seen. Max Sweeney, will he want to be too far forward, stepping up to a mile and a half? Wouldn't have thought so. So it's set up to be an interesting race.
Hurricane Lane, you'd have thought, would be quite prominent. He looks a strong stayer.
I like Hurricane Lane. I think he's coming into the race. He's the horse that has probably had the biggest test, because the Dante was a really tough race. If he's come out of that race in good order, then I think he'll take some beating. That was a good race. It was a hard race. It was a lung busting race for him. But I really like that horse, and I imagine William will just slide up into a forward position and take the race as it comes.
And gear up for Mark Johnston. His horses are never usually too far off the pace. Ben Curtis, a big Derby ride for him. Just an okay run in the Dante. I can't think they'll be sitting him too far out the back.
No, Mark Johnston's usually just flowing a nice rhythm, but sometimes you can be fooled. I've often done it in the past. You think there's a Mark Johnston run out, LW pace, but quite often if they get to the front and the horse pricks their ears, and then they just slow it down, and that makes life really uncomfortable when you're stuck behind, because if you then go and take on a Mark Johnston horse too soon, you waste your own petrol doing so. So it's an interesting tactical race.
We've seen horses make all in the Derby. Last year, Serpentine.
Yeah.
Pretty much made most of the running. Slip Anchor in 85, famously under Cawthon, who was the master of it round here. Any chance Ryan Moore could just get on with it and keep it simple?
It's always a possibility, yeah, it can be done. Steve Cawthon did it twice. He did it on reference points as well. And if you get a soft lead round here, it's the best place to be. As we've seen Serpentine last year, I mean, he went pretty quick, but there was a point of the race where the horse in second, third and fourth didn't lay up with him, and he just kept getting further and further away because you're running for half the race downhill. So it's a possibility.
Martin, thanks so much for your time today. Well, we have to make sure everyone remembers to tune in at 8:30 tonight to Racing TV, because this Racing Life, you've done a special course walk with your buddy George Baker.
Yeah, we did a walk around the track. It was good fun, actually. I'm not sure the producer was completely happy with us, said we were behaving like children, but we just tried to give the viewers an insight into what it's like to ride around this very special racetrack.
What a gorgeous place it is. What a lovely morning it is as well. Let's hope for more of the same tomorrow and Sunday. The key headlines: 12 go to post in the Derby, just 1 from Ballydoyle. That heavy favourite, Bolshoi Ballet, is only going to be more heavily back with the news that he comes from stall 9 in the hands of Ryan Moore. Join us a little bit later on, and then, of course, tomorrow and Saturday, every race live here on Racing TV for the Cazoo Derby and Oaks.